Alright folks, grab your popcorn and brace yourself for one of the wildest matchups Mother Nature never meant to happen. We're diving into a fantasy face-off that's part science, part chaos, and all teeth. In one corner, weighing in at a whopping 1,500 pounds, wearing a winter coat and armed with meat-shredding claws, we've got the polar bear, the frost-covered heavyweight champ of the Arctic. And in the other, slithering in from the mangroves with armor-plated skin and the strongest bite on the planet, the saltwater crocodile, nature's cold-blooded death machine. Now sure, these two never meet in real life. One rules the frozen tundra, the other owns the murky waters of the tropics, but what if just for fun we threw them into a neutral arena and asked the question every wildlife nerd has secretly wondered: who walks away from this beastly brawl? As someone who's spent years studying predator behavior and more late nights than I'd like to admit watching animal showdowns, I can tell you this isn't just about who's bigger. It's brains versus instinct, claws versus jaws, snow tank versus swamp assassin. We'll break it all down: size, speed, natural weapons, and killer skills, and by the end, we'll crown a victor in one of the most extreme fantasy battles in the animal kingdom. Let's settle this once and for all. Welcome to the wildest what if on Earth. 1. Size and defense, the giant bear versus the armored lizard. Let's kick things off with pure presence. When it comes to size, the polar bear walks in like a furry bulldozer on steroids. This Arctic beast can weigh up to 1,500 pounds and stretch nearly 10 feet tall when it stands up straight. That's basically the height of a basketball hoop. Folks, its thick layer of fat acts like built-in body armor, the dense fur keeps it toasty in sub-zero tongue, and the skin underneath is tough enough to handle a few punches from Mother Nature. Now enter the saltwater crocodile. It might not stand tall, but what it lacks in height, it makes up for in length and attitude. This underwater predator can reach up to 20 feet long and weigh as much as a small car. The kicker, its entire body is wrapped in natural armor, tough, scaly skin that's been field tested for millions of years. This stuff is so rugged it can deflect bites, slashes, and probably a few medieval weapons for good measure. Think of it this way: the polar bear is a tank built for cold warfare. The croc is an armored submarine with a bad temper. My take: polar bear wins on raw size and brute strength, but the crocodile's defense is no joke. It's like throwing punches at a living chainsaw. Unless you hit just the right spot, it's not going down easy. 2. Speed and agility, ice hunter versus water assassin. Let's talk movement, folks. Imagine one of these animals chasing you now. If you're sprinting across a snowy field, your worst nightmare is the polar bear. Despite its massive size, this Arctic predator can hit speeds up to 25 miles per hour. That's faster than most people run when they hear the ice cream truck. Not only that, it's an excellent swimmer and a stealthy stalker on ice. It's quiet, focused, and surprisingly nimble for a creature that looks like it should be lumbering around in slow motion. But then there's the crocodile. This reptilian relic is built for ambush below the surface. It's like a submarine on a mission. It can glide through the water with barely a ripple, launch into a deadly burst of speed in the blink of an eye, and stay submerged for hours without coming up for air. It doesn't chase, it waits, then it explodes. However, once the croc hits dry land, the game changes. It's awkward, sluggish, and about as graceful as a shopping cart with a flat tire. That's when the polar bear takes the upper paw. So here's my take on land. The bear is king, fast enough to catch a seal and strong enough to crush a snowmobile if it felt like it. But in the water, the crocodile is the ultimate predator. It moves like a ninja in a wetsuit and disappears before you even know it's there. This round is all about location. If it's a land fight, the bear dominates. If it's in or near water, the crocodile rules the battlefield. Choose your arena wisely. 3. Weapons and combat skills, bear claws versus croc jaws. Now we're getting into the fun stuff, the natural weapons these beasts bring to the battlefield. Think of it as Mother Nature's version of a UFC cage match, but with zero rules and way more teeth. Let's start with the polar bear. This snow-covered giant has claws roughly 4 inches long, and they're not just for digging through ice or scratching an itch. One swipe can tear through flesh like a hot knife through butter. And the bite, we're talking 1200 psi, and that's enough to crunch through bone like it's a pretzel stick. But here's the thing. The bear doesn't go for flashy moves. It's a brawler, relying on brute strength and overwhelming force. Think linebacker with fur and serious anger issues. It can crush you, but it's not exactly a surgical striker. Now enter the crocodile. This ancient predator is the definition of terrifying efficiency. Its bite force hits around 3,700 psi, the strongest of any animal on Earth. That's enough to snap cow's leg like a twig. And it's not just the bite, it's the follow-up move, the infamous death roll. It latches on. then spins like a blender set to obliterate. We're talking dislocated limbs, broken bones, total chaos. It's taken down everything from wildebeests to sharks. Sharks, if you're in its jaws, you're not walking away. So who takes this round? On land, the polar bear has the edge. It's got more tools in the toolkit and can throw its weight around like a wrecking ball. But if that crocodile lands a clean bite, especially on a leg or neck, it could end the fight before the bear knows what hit it. My verdict: the bear might throw the first punch, but the croc's got the one-hit kill in its back pocket. 4. Final verdict: who survives the ultimate showdown? Alright folks, this is it. The bell rings, the crowd's roaring, and the Arctic heavyweight faces off against the swampy death machine. It's the ultimate cold versus bold brawl. If this clash happens on land, say an icy tundra or a dry arena, the polar bear has the clear advantage. It's got the muscle, the stamina, and the brute resilience to go the distance. Picture a grizzly-sized snow tank charging full speed with claws out and no chill. That bear can take hits like a champ and dish out punishment like it's handing out snacks. But bring the fight near water and the story changes fast. The crocodile becomes a nightmare with scales. It's quiet, it's quick, and it's got that terrifying ability to disappear beneath the surface and reappear with a bone-crushing ambush. If the polar bear slips too close, it's lights out before round 2 even begins. Here's what really matters: the croc is a one-shot killer. It's not trying to outlast or outwrestle, it's waiting for that one clean strike to end it all. Meanwhile, the polar bear is built for the long haul: tougher skin, more stamina, and the raw grit to grind it out when the going gets rough. My take: the environment decides everything. On dry land, the bear brings too much heat and holds the upper paw, but toss them into a river or swamp and the crocodile flips the script with jaws that don't miss. It's predator versus predator, but in the end, it's the battlefield that picks the winner. Are they dangerous to humans? Oh, you bet they are. Let's not kid ourselves. Both of these beasts are walking, swimming, breathing do not touch signs. Starting with the polar bear, this isn't your cuddly zoo bear or the mascot on a soda can. It's a 1,000-pound apex predator with zero fear of humans. Why? Because it rarely sees us, so we're not even recognized as a threat, more like potential prey. In the wild Arctic, polar bears have been known to track, stalk, and yes, hunt humans. They're curious, persistent, and way too strong to run from. If one sets its eyes on you, you're in real trouble. I always say, if you see a polar bear and it sees you back, you're not observing nature anymore, you're part of the food chain. Now let's talk about the saltwater crocodile, or as I like to call it, nature's hitman with a permanent poker face. These guys are the largest living reptiles on Earth and arguably the most dangerous to people. They don't just bite. They explode out of the water like a torpedo made of muscle and murder. Salties are responsible for hundreds of attacks on humans every year, especially in parts of Southeast Asia and Northern Australia. You might not even see it coming until it's too late, and if it gets a grip, that death roll is not just for show. It's designed to tear prey apart and disorient them before pulling them under. My honest opinion: if you're in polar bear country, stay out of their path and carry a serious deterrent. If you're anywhere near croc waters, don't even dip a toe. These animals aren't evil, they're just built for business, and unfortunately, business is booming if you're careless. Should you keep one as a pet? Please don't. Really. Let's get one thing straight: if you're even thinking about adopting a polar bear or a saltwater crocodile as a pet, I have 2 words for you: absolutely not. Starting with the polar bear, sure, it looks like a giant snow puppy in those documentaries, but don't let the fluff fool you. This animal is a 1,500-pound predator with the appetite of a linebacker and the instincts of a lion on ice. You'd need an industrial freezer the size of a football field just to make it feel at home. Oh, and feeding it, you better have a steady supply of seal meat and fish and probably a few $1,000 a week. These guys aren't cuddly companions, they're apex predators with claws that can open a car door like a soda can. Now, onto the saltwater crocodile, aka the world's grumpiest living dinosaur. Unlike dogs, crocs don't fetch, they don't wag their tails, and they definitely don't care about your feelings. In fact, if you slip while feeding it, you might become the meal. These reptiles grow up to 20 feet long and can live over 70 years. That's not a pet, that's a commitment to being terrified every single day. You'd need a moat, reinforced fences, and maybe a life insurance policy that covers eaten by ancient lizard. In my professional opinion, stick to goldfish, they don't try to eat you when you clean their tank. If you had fun with this wild showdown, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, it helps the channel grow faster than a polar bear chasing a seal. Got a favorite in this fight? Team Bear or Team Croc? Drop your pick in the comments and tell me why. You might just convince me to change sides. And hey, if you want to see more epic animal face-offs or learn cool wildlife facts you can bust out at your next BBQ, turn on those notifications so you never miss a beastly battle. This is your friendly neighborhood wildlife nerd signing off. Until next time, stay curious and keep it wild. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more epic animal battles and wildlife breakdowns every week.